today I'm discussing project versus product. Many a time when you enroll for SAFE class, you start thinking, I will learn how to do a project management using Scaled Agile Framework. And as soon as I start the class, usually I face this difficulty or this conversation or this interesting opportunity in a leading SAFE class because many project managers, people coming from project backgrounds also join there. So when we start the class, we start talking about the Scaled Agile supporting your business agility, and there is a products and their solution development and all those things. And people start wondering, where is the project? How do we get started? How do we bring the team together? How do we ensure that we are adhering to the overall compliance standards? And when do we deliver the project in this particular way of working? So the news is the Scaled Agile framework is not designed for project way of working. Now, I won't say that it is not used in a project way of working. You may end up finding out how to tweak it, and they have a lightweight version many a time get used in the project way of working as well. But by default, the way the Scaled Agile framework is designed, it is designed for product way of working or a captive way of working. It's like that I am a bank. I have a group of developers, engineers who are supporting my applications. And I want to make sure that this development group is well aligned with my bank strategy. And both of us, our new product development, our sustenance of the existing product, and our operational staff work together to maximize the value for our organization. That is the kind of context with which we start Scaled Agile framework. And we are saying that it will help you in integrating your development people, your new product development with your operational strategy. And you can organize your organization in this particular way to start collaborating better and start competing in the changing market situation. So that's how we position it. Now, somebody will say, okay, so how do we do project management in Scaled Agile framework? So I would say you can possibly use a lighter version, or they call it lighter configuration of SAFE, which is called Essential SAFE. Now, SAFE is not designed for a vendor customer kind of point of view. You can say we have a client and the client has given us a requirement and I as a vendor have to do something and deliver to it. So what is a client responsibility and what is a service provider responsibility? Those contexts are not explained in the framework. Framework is assuming this all is a one team. But if you have a specific thing, you need to figure that out. You need to find those details. So I would say that many a time when people are working as a customer and a client vendor context, they use essential configuration of SAFE. At least the vendor or the service provider or the IT consulting group who is supporting the client's implementation, the IT support group or the consulting group will be using Essential SAFE. Client may use the other aspects of the SAFE as well. It is most likely that your client is using Scaled Agile framework. If you are in a vendor client relationship, rather than you as an organization is proposing to use Scaled Agile framework, it is less likely. Most likely the client is using SAFE and they want you as a provider also get into the same structure. So many a time you will see the SAFE framework will be pushed from your client side rather than you as a service provider will take it to the clients. You can do it, yeah, definitely. Some part of the SAFE as an Essential SAFE, you can do it. But in general, in my observation, it is pushed by the client side. Now, somebody will say, okay, can you elaborate a little bit more about Essential, which probably we can do as a project thing also? So yes, the Essential SAFE is basically solving a one problem. It is helping us in understanding how to make multiple agile team plan together, collaborate together, integrate together, validate together, release together. So if you want to say that, I will figure it out from where I get the requirement, what kind of contracts I have, that part I will take care as per my existing process. Existing process could be a project management process also. You may have your way of doing contracting and that brings the requirements to you. But in order to execute the work with a big agile team, I need big means collection of agile team, or a big agile team is a group of agile team. So in order to execute the work with a group of agile team, I want to use some structure. I want to use some framework. There, the Scaled Agile framework can help you. The Essential SAFE framework primarily starts from identification of a set of requirement, does not go behind how you are identifying the requirement. You need to figure out that behind part as per your project context. But once you fill the requirement and you continuously integrate those requirements and work with the agile team, then you can start working in the time boxed pattern, which they call it planning interval PI, and you develop, integrate, and do the things accordingly. Now, how do you design the contract? How do you do reporting to the client? Those parts will be, there are some article around SAFe, but they are not very well explained, or they are very unique also between you and your client, but probably won't be able to be very crystal clear identified with the help of framework. So you can assume mostly you will have a capacity based contract in this SAFe way of working. Probably the client will take team from you, rather than client will give you a fixed requirement and expect you to finish it in this much time. Very unlikely if you work in a fixed price context and you end up using SAFe and your client is also collaborating in a SAFe style. Very unlikely. Again, you may find out some deviation in your contract which has some element of fixed pricing as well. But in general, it will be more capacity oriented. It will be more maybe a collaborative oriented. So you understand both of you are working together. Some kind of time and material or a flavor of time and material will be most likely to be present. So yes, when you look at the content, you don't find a word project in the whole framework. Yeah, not as a part of the framework. You may find it as a criticism. We should not be using project. That is there in many like many web pages will talk about the project is not a good idea. Now, do we have a role called project manager in SAFe? The answer is no, you don't have it. But do I need a project manager in SAFe? I would say it depends. If you are working in this customized mode, where you are executing the work only with the help of SAFe way of working by integrating multiple agile team, but you still need to do project level contracting, reporting and all, then there is a likelihood that you may have a project manager role to take care of those work. There is a likelihood. But from a framework perspective, it is designed to work in a more collaborative manner. You don't have a very specific reports, which has to be done in the temporary endeavor called project. Since we don't define the project, we don't have a project manager also by default in a scaled agile framework. So we need to understand our context. We need to see how possibly we will use this framework. But it's an important point to keep in mind when I am exploring the framework. By default, it is designed for an organization which has operation and development group inside it. Now, if it is coming in the separation, we need to do some kind of augmentation to take care of this framework. Now, if you have an idea, if you work in a project mode, if you are working in the kind of client-vendor relationship and still using SAFe, maybe you want to share some of your ideas with us. This will help the community also see how possibly it get tweaked or used in a particular context. I also invite you to come in this podcast as well. You may join. You just let us know, drop an email to us, and we probably bring you in the podcast and you can share your experience related to how you use SAFe in this project way of working, or how it was helpful or not helpful when you try to use in a project way of working.